today we are starting off a new year. The end of the year brings us the best gift ever, a whole more 12 months of books to read. So happy 2025, happy January, and we will be going through some of our most anticipated books for the year.
Yes. So going off of mainly the Goodreads list, we're going to go by genre, tell you the author's name, titles, a little bit about the book, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so grab your TBR list and write some things down, and let's get started. Best books of 2025, or the ones we're most excited about.
Yes.
So let's start. I have my handy dandy little list of books, so I'll be referring to my phone. She'll be referring to her phone. So bear with us.
Yes.
All right, first book we're starting with is contemporary and historical fiction. It's the category. Homeseeking by Carissa Chen. I'll give you a little synopsis. She's much admired for her short fiction and essays. This is her debut novel. She invites readers to the 1940s Shanghai, where teenage soulmates Hai Wen and Sushi, I believe that's how you pronounce them, are tragically separated by war. 60 years later, Hai Wen is bagging groceries in Los Angeles when fate has some cosmic fun. I don't know what that means, but it sounds awesome.
Great way.
It's very, historical fiction, but it kind of feels a little fantasy-ish with the whole cosmic thing and, 60, I don't know. I like, friends meeting in the future. Did you ever watch, what was the movie called?
Got there.
There was a movie in the Oscars last year. It was about a guy and a girl, and they were childhood best friends, and then she moved from Asia to the US.
Oh, cool.
Anyways, it sounds very similar to that.
Yes.
It also says, bonus, you can check out the author's real bio on her website, so you can hear more about her on her website. That book did release January 7th, so it's fresh off the press.
So there you go. If you're interested, run to the bookstore.
Yep, so head over there.
On to our next one in the same genre, correct?
Mm-hmm. Same genre.
The Bright Years by Sarah Demoff,
I think.
I'm so scared. I'm going to butcher all of these names.
We're so sorry.
So sorry. The debut novel follows 4 generations of a Texas family through love, loss, and ultimately the unveiling of long-held secrets. This big-hearted tale is told from 3 different characters' point of views. We love a multiple POV, and early readers have said very, very good things. The reviews have looked wonderful. So this release date is April 22nd for this one. So mark your calendars if this sounds like something interesting to you.
April's a big month.
It was a big one.
Yeah, April is a very big month. I just listened to a podcast. Book podcast. Shout out. I'll read what she's reading. And they were talking about why April's such a big month, because it's the beginning of spring, and it's usually when people are finding things to read into the summer, and people have work winding down, school's letting out, there's a whole, so publishing houses love April. Switching genres, fantasy fans, which is us.
Yes.
Big, heavy on the fantasy over in this household. 2025, big year for fantasy fans. Su Lin Tan is back with a new book, Immortal, which is inspired by Chinese mythology, featuring Lian, a heroine who must navigate immortal politics and forbidden love.
Oh.
Which I love, a strong female fantasy lead character. This one sounds very, if you like any sort of mythology, this is specifically Chinese mythology, but I think it falls very similar into Greek mythology, that kind of storytelling. If you like any of that, and if you like Throne of Glass or ACOTAR, strong female main characters, this one sounds really good. That also released January 7th, so it's also brand new out there. So go to the bookstore if that interests you. If you're into fantasy, go check it out. Su Lin Tan with Immortal.
Taking note. And then on to our next one for more cozy cosmic vibe. Water Moon by Samantha Soto Yambao?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask every time.
Yambao.
Okay, cool. Yambao. where regrets and dreams collide in a mystical Tokyo pawn shop. That one dropped on January 14th. So, already out there in the world. Kind of sounds similar from what I understand. I haven't read this book yet. But Before the Coffee Gets Cold? Till the Coffee Gets Cold? Before the one that takes place in the little
before
like,
the
tea shop
before the coffee
or coffee
gets cold.
shop.
Has a little cat on the cover.
Has a little cat on the cover, but I've heard really good things about that one, and I kind of know like the general gist of it. Sounds like it could be similar. So if you read that book and really loved it, this might be a new one for you to read.
Switching gears, those were both kind of in the same realm of like Chinese mythology, Tokyo based, like cool different culture situation going on.
Yes.
This is very fantasy. Vampire, sorcerer, werewolf trio.
Oh, hell yeah.
Kind of book. Lightfall by Ed Crocker. Launched January 14th, so also hot off the press. We'll have more that are coming later in the year, but I wanted to start with some ones that just came out in case you were looking for things to start the year. The Goodreads description of this book says, another mix of mystery and fantasy, this debut novel from UK author Ed Crocker introduces the vampire city of First Light, where the rich get richer and the poor have to drink whatever blood they can find. When palace housemaid Sam stumbles into the wrong room, she must team up with a failed sorcerer and a werewolf assassin to unravel a vast conspiracy.
Okay.
So that one sounds really good.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, I want to read that one. The only other vampire book I have ever read that is fantasy vampire and not like contemporary vampire, because I read Twilight. Fantasy vampire is The Serpent and the Wings of Night.
I didn't know.
Which is the Crowns of Nyaxia series, which one of those books actually just recently came out 2 months ago.
I saw it.
The third book.
It's on my list.
It's really good. So if you like Carissa Broadbent, Serpent and the Wings of Night, vampire type of fantasy situation, and that one's kind of dark fantasy, lots of killing and assassin and murder and things, this sounds like the book for you.
Perfect.
So came out January 14th. So find it in your local bookstore.
So this next one is for sci-fi fans. It's John Scalzi's When the Moon Hits Your Eye. It imagines a world where the moon is replaced by cheese. Trust Scalzi to make it work. The Goodreads description says, what if the moon were really made of cheese? The latest sci-fi excursion from the elder statesman John Scalzi follows the fate of several characters, politicians, scientists, kids, religious leaders, when the moon is suddenly replaced by an identical sphere of good quality cheese. And that one releases in March. March 25th.
Found this one and I could not put it in because that's so random.
I'm gonna be so real, I did not read that description before we started filming. So as I'm reading it, I'm like...
So random. And I loved it. I have not read sci-fi since I was in like middle school. The only other sci-fi series that I really is on my TBR for this year that I like really, really, really want to read is Red Rising.
Oh, I've heard really good things.
Yeah, I have too. I was gifted Red Rising, the first book.
You have it?
Yeah. I was gifted Red Rising 4 years ago.
Yeah. Well, the first one has been out for how long?
A long time. It was gifted by a friend that I went to school with, and he said that it was like his favorite book like ever when he was in high school, I think. But the series wasn't done yet. I don't think the series is even I still don't think it's done yet. They just released a new one, but I don't think it's done yet.
I don't know if the one that they just released is the last one, or if, like, the next one is the last one. But I feel like they're, like, nearing the end.
Yeah. So at that point, it was, like, 3 books ago in the series that I got gifted Red Rising. And I keep trying to read it, and I've tried to listen to it. But every time that I have tried, it just has not been the right time.
Fair.
It's like, not bad at all. And
right.
I literally have only gotten maybe 3 pages into it. Then I was like, I just can't do this right now.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't really given it a good shot, but anyways, so maybe entering my sci-fi world to get myself revved up for a series like Red Rising, I'll read about the moon being cheese.
There you go.
John Scalzi wrote Old Man's War, which I've heard of.
Yes. I recognize the cover. That sounds so bad. There's so many of these where I'm like, oh, heard of it.
Red Shirts,
Want to read it.
Starter Villain, Lock-In,
Homework.
The Dispatcher, The Ghost Bridges, which is the second Old Man's War.
These covers look really familiar.
Yeah. I want to read his profile. Author profile.
Oh.
Okay.
Stop it.
Go on his Goodreads right now. If you have Goodreads, go on his Goodreads right now.
Yes.
And pull it up. It's a picture of him and his cat. That's
Love
awesome.
him already.
John Scalzi, having declared his absolute boredom with biographies, disappeared in a puff of glitter and lilac scent. If you want to contact John using the mail function here is a really bad way to do it. Go to his site and use the contact information you find there.
I love
okay.
him.
Okay, so I'm reading his book.
I love him.
That sold me.
He's so whimsy.
He's a whimsical man.
He's a whimsical man.
That was like my only sci-fi book that I found in that thing that really interests me, but so we're moving on to horror. This is one that I'm looking forward to reading. Couldn't tell you why. It just like the description was really awesome. Anyways,
Real.
Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. The ever-reliable British author Alice Feeney, who wrote Rock, Paper, Scissors, that's like one of her most popular. She returns with a mystery of a missing wife, a baffled husband, a tiny Scottish island, and a mischievous promotional tagline. This is what it says. Wives think their husbands will change, but they don't. Husbands think their wives won't change, but they do. It's a notion so uncomfortable, it has to be true.
Oh,
That sounds
Alice.
I
Aw.
am intrigued.
Big fan.
Yeah, very intrigued. Interested in the whole Scottish island aspect. I love a mystery, horror, thriller type of situation where it's kind of, they're like far away from everything else.
Like isolated?
Yeah, that's the word.
She loves an isolated horror.
Love an isolated horror. Love that. Because I feel like it's more psychological that way.
Yeah. That's like a whole another aspect of the...
And I'm intrigued. So, that one released on January 14th, so it's out there. I think I'm going to try and listen to it.
Yeah.
And then I'll report back if the audiobook is good. I read one of the best, I think it counts as thriller, like mystery thriller, but it was kind of horror. Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter.
With a last name like that, you have to read horror.
Yeah, Karen.
Come on,
Karen Slaughter. There's no way that it's it could be pronounced
like
Slaughter
or something.
but Slaughter.
Come on, that's canon.
Pretty Girls. I listened to that book and that was actually nightmare-inducing. Let's see what it says.
Added to my TBR.
It says, okay, genre, thriller, mystery thriller, crime, suspense, horror.
Love.
Adult contemporary.
Love.
Yeah. So good. That's like...
I'm adding that to my TBR.
So good. You would like it a lot. If you like...
You might have told me about this one.
I definitely did. I
Okay.
definitely did.
Okay.
If you like true crime podcasts, if you like true crime TV shows, if you like true crime, Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter, holy crap. That book's so good. Big, fat trigger warning that there's just like a lot of sexual abuse. So, be aware. And definitely look up your trigger warnings before you read it. But it was really good. Or I listened to her short story, which is kind of like a prologue of that book afterwards, and then she had a whole excerpt about why she writes thriller and horror the way she does, and how she's trying to bring attention to how women are viewed in the media, and then how women go missing, and people don't do a lot about it.
Yeah.
All that's to say, that's the only, like, horror book I've read.
Yeah.
And it was really good, and so I'm excited to read this one. It kind of sounds like relationship, horror, domestic thriller, and I love that kind of vibe, so.
On to our next one. We don't have a lot of info about it. It's kind of just like an honorable mention in here.
I just thought that she would really like this one. So
Probably. Grady Hendrix's Witchcraft for Wayward Girls explores teenage rebellion through occult powers. and that one released January 14th, so it is already out. I already have heard very good things. Seems like it would be right up at least my alley personally. I kind of love that.
A horror thriller mystery.
Yeah. I've been getting really into the show Yellow Jackets. You kind of started me on that. And it almost, without the cannibalism aspect and like the plane crash aspect, anything that has to do with like a group getting into occult powers with the rebellion added in there, I love that. Like, I love it. So I feel like that would be right.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
I just like related it to two things that are a lot more similar to each other than they probably are to the said book. But at least like it's the vibe it gives off. Yeah.
Now we have our biggest category. I think I have the most books in this category, but that's just because I personally love all of these authors. So it's romance time. Romance
Who would have guessed?
Romance.
Who would have thought?
Romance category. So the first one that I'll be talking about is Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. Hannah Bonham Young, I followed her on Instagram 2 years ago, and she was still super small, and then she wrote Out on a Limb. Have you seen the cover of that one?
Yes.
And it's about like he's an amputee.
Read it. Guys, there's so many.
It's really
read
it's cute. I've
heard about like all of them.
But she started to like really blow up. So she has a new one coming out of the Woods. Perfect for fans of rom-coms with like wilderness twist. Reminded me, if you've read Wildfire. Where is it?
She's up there.
Up there. Wildfire. It's Hannah Grace, right?
Hannah Grace.
Yeah,
the
Hannah
second
Grace.
in the whole like icebreaker. What does she call it? The Maple Hills.
Yeah,
series?
Maple Hills. That one's like very outdoorsy. Except this is older people, which is kind of awesome. I'll give you the little description. It says Sarah Linwood is what you call an indoorsy type. So when she and Caleb, her husband of 17 years, set out on a couples therapy wilderness hike, there's no guarantee of success on any level. Author Hannah Bonham Young delivers a romantic comedy featuring outdoor hijinks. That's how you say that.
There you go.
Outdoor hijinks, high school sweethearts, and rough patches, both figurative and otherwise. A lot of rom-coms that I read, actually every rom-com I've ever read, has never been about a pre-existing relationship.
I guess, yeah, now that I think about that, I was like, well, but no, it's like second chance. But you mean like the relationship is already existing by the time the book starts. It's not like they're like broken up and then getting married.
No, like they're actively
it's not a
married.
second chance. Like there's another one, and I can visualize the cover.
Well, and every second chance romance I've ever read too is always like,
I'm just not a second chance romance girly.
I've only read a few, but even those are like in a relationship for a little bit in high school, and now they're like 30.
Yeah, and it's like
years
later,
like 15
they
years
back together or something. Yeah,
but this is like it's a pre-existing relationship, so I'm really interested in what that'll be, and that comes out January 28th.
Ooh,
so super soon.
I will move on to our next one here. I'm very excited about this one. I already have it pre-ordered at our local bookstore. I'm so excited.
Shout out Books Are Awesome.
Shout out Books Are Awesome in Parker.
If you live in Colorado, head to Parker and go to Books Are Awesome.
So, Deep End by Allie Hazelwood. It comes out February 4th. But it is a sports romance about a college fling that drifts into dangerous waters. Standard platform diver Scarlett Vandermeer knows all about jumping into the deep end, but when she meets the new swim team captain, she may be in over her head. Recommended for readers who like extended swimming metaphors. So, I will be making many
metaphors. What's an extended swimming metaphor?
No, like an extended amount of swimming metaphors.
Oh.
Girl!
I was like, what does it mean? Like an extended swimming
That's
metaphor?
what I understood.
Or like a lot of swimming metaphors?
Yes. So...
Never read a diver book.
I am an avid lover of sports romances. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I eat them up. I love them. And swimming is like not usually the kind of sport I read about. So I'm interested.
But like, they're gonna be in bathing suits.
Megan.
What? Like, I
mean,
feel like, how
But,
could
like,
you
that's
not,
not,
if you're
they're
looking
not
at,
cute.
if you're looking
Like-
at a hot guy in a Speedo,
No!
a hot guy in a
That is
Speedo
a
can be
turn-off.
hot.
And a little swim cap. He looks like the little
Yeah.
guys that, like, moms get to hang on their wine glasses. Do you know what I'm talking about? The little, like, swimmer guys that
Yes,
like, millennial
yes.
moms get, and they put them on their wine glasses and they think it's so funny.
Yes.
They are really funny. I like them a lot. But it's just, no. I feel like swimming is, like, not a hot sport.
It could be. But I'd rather be dead than have somebody see me fresh out of the pool when I think they're hot. Unless it's like, if it's like a long-term relationship or whatever, then who cares? Or like your husband, whatever.
But if I'm like,
but if
actually in a pool, like playing mermaids, and my hair is wet, and I get out of the pool,
my hair is wet. No,
That's a no for me. I mean, I get.
If my hair's not wet, maybe.
No, but it's a no for me.
But if my hair is wet, pulling yourself up out of the pool.
It's such an ick.
An
If
ick.
you ever need to like get over somebody, if you ever need to like not have feelings for somebody anymore, if you need to give yourself the ick, imagine them getting out of a pool.
No.
I can't.
What they show you in the movies of the women, like,
well, that's
not real.
Anyways,
let's
not the attractive part, but I'm excited about the book.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yes.
Allie Hazelwood Slay. We
Love her.
So, this is an author that I just recently read my first book of hers, and I'm very excited to read all the rest of them. And I read it kind of out of order, of the series order. It's just in the same universe.
I honestly didn't know there was an order to read them in.
I didn't really either until I was listening to a podcast, and then they were like, you gotta read this one first. I was like, oh, well, shoot, I didn't do that. That's okay.
Oops.
I just recently read Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez.
She's somewhere out there.
Yeah.
She is.
Apparently, it is better to read Part of Your World first. But I didn't do that, and I wasn't confused at all or anything. So
okay.
I don't think it matters. Like it didn't affect my reading. If I go back and read Part of Your World, I might understand why that's the case. But
yeah.
But anyways, so that was the first Abby Jimenez book that I have read. Even though I have a couple of her books, I just hadn't gotten to them.
Mm-hmm.
I read Yours Truly, really good. So now she has a new one coming out, April 1st, and it's Say You'll Remember Me. This is the description. If there's one thing better than a handsome veterinarian, it's a handsome veterinarian with a cute kitten. That's what Samantha always says. So when her date goes pretty much flawlessly, she's tempted to just leave it at that. A perfect memory of the ultimate pleasant evening. But fate, marches forward. As is, it's won't. That doesn't make sense.
Girl, you typed it!
But fate, as it is, marches forward. I believe that's what it's supposed to say. Fate won't allow that to happen. She can't just leave it at that. And I love a veterinarian, and I love cats. So, I'm pumped about that one. I have to figure out if all of her books are about doctors in some way. Because Yours Truly is about two doctors. Part of Your World, if it's about the couple that I think it is based on Yours Truly, are also doctors.
Oh, okay.
And
what's the other one that's been like really popular lately that she wrote? Something having to do with summer.
Just for the Summer.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Just for the Summer.
What's
Part of Your World 3. Oh yes, she's a traveling nurse.
So I think yes.
Okay, so then that whole series at
Methinks
least.
yes.
That Part of Your World, those 3 books are all about doctors. Now this one is about a veterinarian. It's all kind of about doctors.
Still.
Yeah,
Still a doctor,
but like, slightly different. But still a doctor. So I think she writes all about doctors, which is interesting. In her acknowledgments in Yours Truly, when you read the book, I don't want to spoil anything.
So Food Network winner.
Yeah.
Okay, Queen.
Yeah, she's cool. Read the acknowledgments of her books because she has had some really interesting medical stuff happen to her. Some really sad medical stuff happened to her.
Interesting.
So I think that's probably why she writes a lot about
Probably.
doctors.
Yeah, because I don't.
And I think her
she
husband
is.
might be.
I was gonna say, I was like, maybe. Okay.
Don't quote me on that though.
I'm really excited about this too. Okay, so Emily Henry, love of my life. She's one of those authors where I'm like, I just trust you. Like, anything she writes, I will read. So she has a new one coming out. Great Big Beautiful Life is going to come out April 22nd. It's a romantic tale of competition and unexpected love between two writers, which, sounds
That's
right.
her thing.
Yeah, I was like, sounds correct for Emily Henry. Am I upset about it? No. Will I read it if it's the exact same plot as Beach Read or Book Lovers? Yes. I don't care. I'm sad.
Yeah, I don't care. I feel as if, and let us know in the comments if you'd be interested, I feel like an episode we should do is our full like unpacking of Emily Henry. Just talk all about Emily Henry.
I can do that.
Play like some games with her characters, type of thing, who we like the most, ranking her books in our order, give you some synopsis, maybe mini spoilers, but we'll let you know.
Yeah. But I could still get.
So if you're interested in that, think that's what I want to do.
I would love that.
I love that too.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
For the world of Emily Henry. So we'll get more in depth with her another time. Okay, switching gears. This is for young adults, but I'm really excited for this one.
But
because it's Suzanne Collins.
There you go.
And it's Sunrise on the Reaping.
There you go.
50th Hunger Games.
Absolutely.
Focusing on young Haymitch. Yay. And that's all you need to know about that. I don't. Yeah. The thing about this book, Haymitch, love him. Love him to death. I was such a big Hunger Games kid.
Yeah.
So obsessed with the Hunger Games as a kid. We would play Hunger Games.
Oh my god. And we had like an unhealthy obsession.
Yeah, like really unhealthy. I loved Hunger Games. But I'm pumped about this one just because I have always wanted to know more lore about Haymitch. I've always wanted to know more. And I always forget until it says, rewinds to the 50th Hunger Games. That's a quarter quell. And I always forget that he was a quarter quell winner. Which means it's a special game.
I was gonna say.
So it's like gonna be super crazy.
And they're gonna make it a movie too.
Yes,
like we know. We're gonna get this already. It's gonna be delicious.
They've already decided it's a movie. They've already cast him.
I did not know that.
Yeah, wait, let me look it up.
I did not know that this was like.
Yeah, releases November 20th, 2026.
Oh.
So read the book quickly.
On to the next one. I Am Not Jessica Chen by Anne Liang. So it's a body swap story full of lots of twists and turns. Jenna Chang has a very weird problem. After wishing she could be more like her successful cousin Jessica, Jenna finds she's trapped inside her cousin's body. Now she must try to survive at the elite and highly competitive Havenwood Private Academy. So Anna Liang, our author here, who also wrote I Hope This Doesn't Find You, takes a speculative crack at the classic body switch story. I'm excited about this one. I love, body swapping story. A lot of them are the same, though. I don't care. I kind of love it. Not gonna lie.
A Freaky Friday moment.
Like a Freaky Friday moment, I eat it up every time. I love it. And this one releases January 28th, so very soon you'll have a new one to look forward to. Still in the YA category. But I don't know, I'm really excited about this one. I'm usually not a YA person, but this one sounds very interesting.
Yeah. Okay, switching to romantasy. I'm sure that some of the fantasy that we talked about probably have romantic elements, but these are listed in romantasy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Much more focused.
So this is a second book in a series. It's The Ballad of Falling Dragons by Sarah A. Parker. The first book in the series earned a 2024 Goodreads Choice nomination. First book, it's the Moonfall series, is the whole series. Okay. The first book was When the Moon Hatched.
Okay, I was like,
yeah,
When the Moon Hatched,
which I really want to read. The last time I checked, it was on Kindle Unlimited, so if you want to read When the Moon Hatched before The Ballad of Falling Dragons comes out, it was on Kindle Unlimited the last I checked.
Cool.
This sequel story, which comes out October 7th,
Perfect.
Continues the adventures of rebel assassin Rave and bounty hunter Khan.
Ooh.
It's Kaaan. I think it's
I like those names.
Readers of the first book recommend Parker's lively dialogue and world-building details, including an innovative magic system and a lunar spin on dragon lore. So dragons, which I love dragons, and I've heard nothing but glowing reviews about When the Moon Hatched. It's a daunting book.
Much of anything, I just like recognize the title.
I've heard it's fantastic. It's a thick book. It's kind of daunting, so I feel like Kindle Unlimited is good for stuff like that because I just fly through books better on the Kindle.
Yeah.
So yeah, just so you know, that's out there. We're coming out October 7th.
Our next one. You gave me all the good ones. She gave me all the good ones. So Onyx Storm, Rebecca Yarros, another author that I just love and adore. So this is the third in a series. This is the third in the Empyrean series. The first book was Fourth Wing and the second was Iron Flame. A very popular series. It gained popularity really quickly, completely. I love this series. This was kind of what started to get me into fantasy and like fantasy romance. And honestly, like I think reading Fourth Wing like really kickstarted my obsession with reading in general. I hated reading for a very long time and just recently got back into it, and now here we are like a year and a half later. So I will say like I give Fourth Wing so much credit. So this third book I am currently in the middle of reading. I haven't finished it yet.
I'm also in the middle of reading it.
I was gonna say we're both in the middle of reading it. This series is so good. I have nothing but good things to say. If you're into dragons, if you're into like the military side of things, it's very cool because it's like a modern take on the medieval aspect of fantasy, like still sticks to very classic fantasy tropes and kind of just like the vibe, but she uses very modern language. Some of the things in this world are a little bit more modern. It's a good mix. This is Rebecca Yarros' first fantasy series. She was originally just a romance writer, a romance author, and an incredible one. And so she kind of came out and was like, I've always wanted to write fantasy, so I hope that this is kind of like a gateway drug of a book into that realm. So it's a really, really good first fantasy series. Also, guys, it's such a good romance too. I'm like getting overwhelmed just talking about.
If you haven't read Fourth Wing, it is about a raging war.
Yes.
And that has been going on for hundreds of years. And so everyone that lives in this state, I'm going to call it.
I forget what they call them.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Kingdom. In this kingdom, they all have to go to college to be trained for war. Within that college, there is a section for dragon riders. So they ride dragons and battle. And it's awesome. So this is the third book continuing that whole thing with lots of struggle, very strong female main character.
Mm-hmm.
And we will dive more deeply into it as soon as both of us finish the book. Well, our next episode, as soon as we finish it, which will be in the next few days, we will do a whole deep dive into our review of the third book, since it did just release on the 21st. So that's it. That's all. Yeah, that's the list. So what are you gonna add to your TBR? Let us know in the comments.
I'd love to know.
Yeah, we would love to know. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We have a million more videos coming your way.
Absolutely. And if you have any additions to this list or any that you're really excited about, leave them below, because I would love to know what we're missing, or if there's any that, based off of what we said we're interested in that you think we would love.
This was just such a short amount. Goodreads has such a long list of anticipated reads, and I wanted to start with, the ones that just recently came out are soon to be released, or some in the future that I'm really personally excited about. But
we're excited about. Seriously, we're excited.
There's so much more out there. So please let us know, because we want to expand our TBR as well. Yeah, like, subscribe, and we will be back to see you again next week. That's it. So happy reading.
Happy reading, friends.
Okay, bye.